weird. Peace, Sandra. Peace, Jocelyn. Sonya sees. We have no. I heard that. But you know what, Sonya? Did we ever think we did? Right. We are. We are all that we have. No, they. No, they do not. I can't even. I can't even say I'm disappointed. Can you? Can you hear me all right? Good. I'm. What I'm doing right now is I can see myself on the screen. So that's giving me an idea of what you see. Well, not an idea of what you see. This is exactly what you see. It's just a little bit of a delay. So what we what we learned. I'm still waiting for Nicole's view and to see what she has to say. She's actually there, and I believe she's probably just trying to process all this and put it together. But well, thank you. You noticed that, Sonia? Thank you. I told you I changed the way that I eat and everything, and it started working out. So I'm slowly but surely doing it. And love like the sun, peace. Yeah, and it's very important that we be in shape anyway um, because we're in an actual war. A lot of us don't even know it, but we are, unfortunately. And it's not because we're choosing to be. It's because someone has chosen to be at war with us or to declare war upon us. People who really just want to be at peace, just want to be at peace. That's all we want, and and they will not allow it. So it is what it is. Yeah, nothing to it but to do it, Sonya. Then just take it. Then just take it one day at a time. Like I was telling Angela, it'd be fabulous. You know, there's a couple times. The first thing I did was got away from the white sugars. I haven't gotten away from all the white stuff as far as like potatoes or rice, but I've cut that way down. I'm mostly fruits and vegetables, and every now and then I'll fall off the wagon and have something that's sugary, but that's happening like fewer and farther between. So, and I feel a lot better for it too. So yeah, Sonya sees this is the longest war in history. Um, I I'm on here. I was on Nikki Justice's live stream, and then I went to Phil from the Advice Show's live stream, and all I know is I just sit there and just get madder and madder and madder. Um, and that's what's so odd. It's almost it's almost like the when a loved one transitions and it's a long drawn out um, sickness or something, you know that they're going to transition, but you can never prepare yourself for it. So when it comes to what happened with Cosby, um, I'll have to be honest. I thought he was going to be acquitted. I really did. I thought he was going to be acquitted. But even though he didn't, it's absolutely no surprise to me. But it's just like when we hear about our people getting gunned down the streets, we're not surprised anymore. But the anger and frustration still remains. There's nothing we can do. There's nowhere to really put that anger and frustration. We but but we're not surprised whatsoever. Okay, another one of us got gunned down the street. Okay, what what's your point? Because this is what you do. This is who you are and what you do, and you've shown yourself as such. Peace, August Dreams. Just saw you come in. Um, Now, for me, I what happened with this case, what happened at the Waffle House in both instances, what happened at the Starbucks, what happened with Stephon Clark getting gunned down, coon that he was, and so on, 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 ad infinitum. I've mentioned many times that there are people in my life that I try to reach, that I try to get through to. That time has passed. For me, that time has passed. Those days are over. You know, if you, as I asked in my question, I think it was on Monday when I was saying, what is it going to take? I didn't even know this was going to happen. Okay, but that just shows that I was already wrestling with this. What the heck is it going to take? I was about to swear. What's it going to take for you to get a clue to the people that I'm like talking to a brick wall? What is it going to take? Because you got some of our Negroes who what it's going to take for them is for somebody to come to them in a KKK uniform, take the hood off, and be in blackface, and then burn a cross on their yard, firebomb their house, okay, and drag them out and lynch them before they'll start to even begin to get a clue. And I'm like, look, I got no time to hold anybody's hand. So when I'm talking to people from now on, I'm going to be talking to the members of our community who are awake, or at least coming awake. But I got no more time for our people who who can see something like this and still refuse to wake the hell up. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. It's a drag on our community. It's a drag on our people. We need to be building. And we can't build as long as we're steady reaching back, trying to pull dead weight who doesn't want to come. If you want to stay back there with your precious white people you love so much, and that doesn't mean I hate them. I'm just saying, if you want to stay with it, stay with them. Please, please stay with them. Please give them the benefit of the doubt while they're giving you none. Okay, please, by all means, when one of them does something, call them a lone wolf. While when one of ours does something, our entire race gets blamed for it. By all means, stay with them. I would rather you be with them because you are a drag on our community. And here's the thing, because Angela made an excellent point, because back in the day, if you had caught me even 10 years ago, I'd have been cooned out. Now I was never one who like hated my people, but I was still cooned out. Conservative Republican, excuse me, all that. But the thing is that I woke up and I had to wake myself up. Yeah, I had a lot of people talking to me, and and I was the same kind of a brick wall. And so there's validity to that argument. There's validity to the argument that you have to give them time too, because because everybody's not at the same place. That's fair, and I can't even really argue that. But the time frames are changing. Things are starting to speed up, and it's a different time. And whereas back 10, 20 years ago, you had time to fool around and hold these, I was gonna say coons, hold these people by the hand and try to lead them on. But now there's no time for that, because the efforts against us are being stepped up. And I don't believe this just because we can see it. I mean, sure, we've always known about it, and now we're able to see it. And it seems like, there may not be, there may be a correlation between us being able to see it and whether it was always happening or not. Hi, son. I'm recording. It's all good. Uh, but there may be a correlation between what was going on then and the fact that we can see it now. And the actual beginning of it, as far as I'm concerned, was what happened with Rodney King. Now we still have the newsreels of what was happening during the civil rights movement, but the thing about Rodney King was you had you had this man on tape, on film, obviously being beaten for no reason. And then you had a jury, okay, an attorney and jury that was telling them, you're not seeing what it is you're looking at. Don't believe your lying eyes. Believe me. And so after that, then we start seeing more and more tapes and film, and now digital and from whatever mobile devices. And but I submit that that there is something that's speeding up about this. I don't really know how to explain it. Um, I could try to go all spiritual with it, but I don't know it in that way. It's just something that I feel. It's just something that I'm observing. So I could be wrong, but in my estimation, I don't have time to be fooling around trying to coddle somebody and bring them and teach them to bring them along if they're not, because number one, time is short, and number two, it's frustrating. It's frustrating to me, and I might actually even, in all honesty, I might actually even reverse that decision if someone can say something or show me, where I may be mistaken in that. But as of right now, just like I asked about with the question Monday, what's it going to take? What is it going to take? Because this stuff keeps happening, over and over and over and over. What does it take for you? What's it going to take? So anyway, I'm gonna read a few of the comments here. Oh, I don't even know if I have my glasses. Here they are. Peace 34 Jazzy, NJ, Progressive ND, Black Dynasty, Unsunken One, uh, Delana. I hope I'm saying that right. It's either Delina or Delana Robinson. You're right. Please remember that it is a spiritual energy war. I to be honest, I really do remember that. I never forget that. Camera piece. I'm just not seeing you. I don't even know where to start. I'm fanatically dependent on them at the moment. Oh, financially dependent on them at the moment. I am out here in Europe. Does anyone have any suggestions? My my whole thing, if for those who haven't watched any of my shares before, my whole thing is that before you can separate physically, you have to separate mentally, and that mental separation just means that we no longer seek their acceptance. We no longer need their friendship. We no longer consider ourselves to have made it or measure ourselves by their standards. You know, and you would be amazed just how ingrained that is in our psyches. Even a thing as simple as standards of beauty are one of the quickest ways to tell just how ingrained this is, because because anything that looks traditionally like a black person, darker skin, fuller lips, a wider nose, shorter hair, shorter natural hair, and all these different things are not considered to be attractive. Although there are different aspects of those features that white people are now trying to uh, imitate. But overall, when you see a black woman and they're saying that she's like one of the most beautiful black women that there is, you'll see someone that looks like Halle Berry, who arguably, if she was to just lighten up some, she'd look white, or she'd just be a white woman, or just other women who they have like this long straight hair and all the these narrow noses and all these different things. So what happens is, and of course the lighter skin. That's why they're like bleaching their skin in Africa, bleaching their skin in Asia and all these different places, is because this connection to whiteism is so strong. And that's the thing that we need to separate from first, even before we separate physically. I've often used the example of breaking up in a relationship. You can break up with somebody, okay? Say you broke up with them, but you're pining over them every day. You're thinking about them every night. You dreaming about them. Now you may as well still be with them. You may as well still be with them if you can't get them out of here. But once you get them out of here, it doesn't matter if you're sitting right beside them. They may as well not even be there. And that's where, and to be honest, that's where people get the most hurt. If you really think about it, think in terms of a relationship. And when people get hurt when they know that you no longer are really thinking about them like that. When they know that you no longer care about what they think like that, then they start getting upset because they know that you can be sitting right beside them. You can be laying in bed next to them, but you're gone. You're gone. And so it is when you live in a white society like this. You can be side by side with them. You can be sitting beside them at the Waffle House, which we shouldn't be going to. But you can be sitting beside them at the movies. You can be sitting beside them on the bus, and not a don't be thinking a bit more about them as you would about the man in the moon. That's the first step to separating. But like I said, if we were to separate, and just think about this, say 100 years ago, we had just started separating ourselves from white people. This whole thing would never happen with Cosby. This whole thing wouldn't be happening with our people getting gunned down the streets. These things wouldn't be happening with all these different factions within our people, and all this different stuff wouldn't even be happening if we were to just separate from them and stay with our own. And another important lesson about that is these young these young brothers who feel, well, I can do this with this Becky, right now, and then, later down the line, I'll start, I'll start just being exclusively with our black women. Bill Cosby just showed you that mess will boomerang back on your ass. It will boomerang back from the deepest depths of the past, like a boomerang coming in from the fog that you didn't even know it was there, and it just come out of nowhere. And the thing is that for me, this isn't necessarily about Bill Cosby. I will say that had he not been messing with white women in the first place, there would have been nothing for them to grab hold of in his past. There'd have been nothing for them to reach back to get him with. That's why we got to watch our step. And as black people in the United States, I keep trying to tell my children this stuff. As black people in the United States, when you're white, you can fail and fail and fail and fail and fail until you make it. Black folks don't get a do-over. We do not get a do-over. You got brothers and sisters sitting in jail for a little bit of weed or a little bit of crack from back in the day. Still in jail. And some of them weren't even, some of them didn't even have any, and they were just associated with someone that had some, still sitting in jail. And then you got these white folks walking around open. These opioids are wearing them out. And what do they need? What do they get? Rehab. They get rehab. They get different places selling stuff to help them if they overdose. But this is where we live. This is where we live, and this is what we have to work with. And again, speaking back to Angela at Be Fabulous You, she's right. She's right. You, at some point, and that point has to come very, very, very soon. It can't even be about white people anymore. It really can't. Not saying that we remove them or absolve them of blank rape. I'm not talking about that foolishness. What I'm talking about is she's right in saying that let's stop talking about moving away from them and start talking about moving toward our blackness. So the conversation is actually about, whenever we talk, is about how to move toward our blackness, how to move toward our people, how to build our people. As a separate conversation to talking about white people, it's not even about them. It's about how we can build our people up. And for those who want to continue to hold the hands of the of our stragglers, I'll call them stragglers, of the ones who are stragglers. Everybody in our community has a place. I no longer am in that place. I'm moving to a different space in our community where I'll be doing a different work. Maybe it is someone else's calling to go into the burning building and look for those who still need to be led out. And if that's your calling, then go on and do that. I'm just saying that's not my calling anymore. My calling isn't to run back into the building. It's to help those who are already out, who are outside the building, saying where do we go from here? And this includes myself, because I'm learning. This is a learning process for me also. It's a learning process for all of us, because we don't know what it's like. It really, what I'm about to say is gonna might just kind of bounce off you, but I really want you to marinate on this and think about it. We do not know what it feels like not to be oppressed. From the time that we set foot on this soil under chattel slavery, from that day to this, our people do not know what it feels like not to be under oppression. That might not sound like that deep of a thing to you, but when I really think about that, that's freaking deep. And as such, we have to create roads where there are none. We have to create ideas where there were none. We have to figure this thing out. So I'm gonna read a few more comments, and then I'm gonna close it up because there's gonna be a lot of a lot of live streams going on today. In just a moment, I'm gonna scroll up. Let me see if I can do this with the. Okay, there we go. I caught it. It went too high. Okay, there it is. I couldn't see the bar. And I apologize. I'm just now. Peace, Kendra. I'm just now seeing you in here. The middle separation has already happened for me. I spent 18 years in a monastery. Oh, all right. And went through hell. I would like to be among my own. Right. Peace, Cap. How you doing in there? Looking for some new music from you, brother. And I still haven't forgot about the collaboration. Black Dynasty. I'm ready for whatever happens. I tell them to their faces, and yes, I work with them, but they know I'm down. I'm down forever, or for whatever. Even fire me, I'm cool. I've been there and done that. Black Dynasty, and I know what you mean, and that's the way we have to be. Is just done with them. I mean, uh, we still have to make livings and so on. I mean, and that's the thing. Being realistic, we still have to make a living and exist. Exist out and about. But in here, nobody can control what's in here, and nobody knows what's in here. Just like we don't know what them. You know. So NJ Progressive Indie, what happened to Mr. Cosby was a painful lesson, but it's one black people and black men in particular must learn going forward. So true. This country is waging war on us. We need to unite and act like it. Absolutely, the war was waged a long time ago. It never stopped or slowed down. Unsunken One with Public Enemy and X Clan were allowed to persist. Now our children have a little pimp, a silly white boy. Ta- uh, Talking about nothing beneficial to our struggle. J9, yeah, peace. My husband had an incident with a nosy white lady today. When she walked away, a cop was staring right at him. Oh my God. And that's the thing too. You get you get these people who, white and black, who like to talk about how who like to talk about how black people uh, react when different things happen, and they try to say, and these are white people and black people saying this, not our people who are awake, but we know who are coons and sellouts and so on. And they're trying to tell us, well, everything isn't racially motivated, everything isn't about race, and blah 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 blah. Well, as I explained in one of my other shares, I agree. Just like Floyd said, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. But I gave this analogy of going into a restaurant and getting bad business. When a white person goes into a restaurant and gets bad service, I meant to say, when a white person goes into a restaurant and gets bad service, they know that it's because they got bad service. When a black person goes into that same restaurant and gets bad service, it could very well be because they just got bad service. But as a black person in the United States, there's no way that we can know that. There always has to be a question in our mind. Did I get bad service because I got bad service, or did I get bad service because I'm black? These are questions white people don't even have to ask themselves. Excuse me, and therefore they don't understand. They don't understand what it means to even have that question hovering around in your mind. But it's something that we always have to contend with. When we see a Dove ad that's obviously slighting us, when we see that H, whatever the name of the clothing company was, that was obviously slighting us, and then they say, well, there was nothing racial about that. It's just a mistake. Okay, I'll even grant that it may have been, but there's no way for me to know that because of the system that they set up. If you hadn't set up a system by which we deal with oppression day in and day out, in which we deal with insults day in and day out, and slights to our people day in, day out, every day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, Monday through Friday. I know that's redundant. I'm just saying it's because it's over and over. It's redundant. It does not stop. And so how can I distinguish between when someone's doing something to me just because they're effed up, or they're doing it to me because of my race? How can I distinguish that? Someone please enlighten me. Enlighten me. How can I know? As black people, how can we know that? We can't. Therefore, our only choice is to err on the side of ourselves. In other words, if someone breaks into my house, they may not be intending on killing me, but my assumption has to be that they plan on killing me. That's the only assumption I can make for my own protection. Therefore, when different things are happening to black people, the only assumption that we can make is that it's racial, in order to protect ourselves. And we cannot be blamed for that. So, I'm on a red peace water sniper. Whew, brother, these freaking people. Okay, there's probably gonna be a whole lot of live streams today. I just want to thank everyone for joining me. I guess this is kind of a rant, but I did want to ask the question. So, what did we learn today? And I don't know if we learned anything. I'll put it like this: those of us, I'll even dare say this, and if you agree with me, give me a number 1. Those of us who are awake pretty much learned nothing today. Those of us who are asleep may have learned something, may or may not have. But those of us who are awake, we didn't really learn anything today. It's business as usual, dealing with the beast. So, Nikki Justice in the house. Nikki, I have to apologize. I had to leave your live. I was getting so mad, and not at you. I was mad at the situation because you were laying down a whole lot of truth, and I was like, oh my God, I was sitting there getting pissed. I wish that you could have. I wish you could have seen me at my keyboard. I was like smoke coming out of it. I was just the more I thought about what they had done and railroaded this man. His daughter isn't even cold in the ground. And they're celebrating. Doing something to this old man. Daughter isn't cold in the ground. And they're probably the ones that sent her there. With all that stress. Man, let me calm down and get off of here. Family, peace, Sister Lisa. I don't see you. I don't see you in here, but it looks like somebody said something to you. Peace if you're in here. So it's Silano, and let's see, Sonia, and let me see. I'm going to see if I can speak to everybody before I. Here we go. Okay, and so I'm going to speak to everybody before I go. 33 Jazzy, Asarde Jones, Peace Black Dynasty, Brandon Burrow, Cap, as always, Crystal Clear, Silano, Dana Slade, Delana or Delina Robinson, Ayapa Oyapa, that's me, J Pillow, 0505, Jocelyn A, Queen, Lisa Cabrera, Mother Nature, New Deep, Nikki Justice in the house, NJ Progressive Indie, and I think that I got everybody. If I missed you, I apologize. I have it so that I can click and see the participants. So I read that straight down. So I mean that genuinely. If I missed you, oh wait a minute, there's still some more. Sister Lovely K, Sonia C's as always, an unsunken one, and I think that's everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and listening to my rant. I'm sure they'll get to see you in more chat rooms, and I'll stay there as long as I can, as long as I don't get pissed off. Because you see how it's time to separate. It's past time to separate. Way past time to separate. And if you can't get away from them physically, get away from them in here, because the freedom is actually in here anyway. And move toward our people. Let every step that we take be toward our people. In ancient Greece, a man, this didn't really happen. This is a little parable. In ancient Greece, a man went to the wise man of the city and he asked him how to get to Mount Olympus. And the wise man said, make sure that every step that you take is toward Mount Olympus. Move toward our people. It's not about moving away from white people. It's about moving toward our people. So all those that I mentioned that's here, Queen Lisa Cabrera, Cat PV2, Peace Mother Nature. I don't know if I spoke to you, and Nikki Justice. Just be sure to go to their channels, like, subscribe. You'll love the content, and don't forget, be fabulous you, and of course my beloved sister Ajali. I'm surprised she's not here, but she probably pissed off too. But Sister Ajali, your radical home sister, don't forget her. And there's just so many more. And I'm gonna stop because I can't get everybody. So that's about it. I'm gonna go and take a chill pill and relax and contemplate what has happened today. So peace. I genuinely love you, family, and just want to keep us moving forward. So I'll probably see some of you in some more live streams maybe this evening. So I'll talk to you later.